So guys, I recently did an interview with one of the prop firm CEO. His name is James, who was once an executive for CTrader for more than 7 years. I had a great discussion with him where we talked a bunch of things related to the prop firm industry. So be sure to watch this interview until the end because there is going to be a lot of things that we discussed and you're going to get a lot of value out of this interview. But before we deep dive into that, if you're new to the channel, consider hitting the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. And do not forget to join my free Discord community from the link in description where I am helping you become a profitable fundy trader. Now let's deep dive into today's interview with James. And once you watch it, do let me know in the comment section what you think about everything that you're gonna watch us discussing related to the prop farm industry. You have started prop farm by the name Pip Farm, is that right?
Yeah, Pip Farm, that's right.
What was your vision behind starting the prop firm?
The vision behind the prop firm, well, it all started a year ago from today, actually.
Yeah.
And it wasn't called Pip Farm. It was going to have a different name. And I had some other partners, was basically just to use our experience building technology, experience running brokers to offer something in the market, be like a CTrader focused prop firm.
Yeah.
So probably you already know, I spent 7 years working at CTrader. So, and at the time it was just FTMO offering CTrader. So there was this opportunity or gap in the market for there to be another CTrader prop firm, one that has a one-stage challenge. We took too long to get to market.
Yeah.
I, because of some creative differences and professional and also personal differences, said goodbye to my business partners and found an investor. So now it's just me and money rather than conflicts about every possible decision you could imagine. And we just couldn't decide on a name. So it was going to have a really rubbish name that basically meant nothing. You could make that argument about most of the prop firms because most prop firms, they have this SEO focused name, right? Like this, funding, Forex, prop, whatever. All of these keywords, jam as many as you can into one domain and there is your brand. So I didn't want to do that. That was what I was going to do. I disagreed with it, but because we were 3 equal partners, every decision was basically impossible.
Yeah.
So now life is much easier because I have very few arguments with myself, and usually I win all of them. So the idea was to be I wouldn't say alternative, but the other CTrader prop firm. Too much stuff happened since then, and now we are one of probably almost 100 by now. And, I still think that's fantastic, but it made me have to change my game a bit. So what I set out to do is not what I'm doing today, to answer your question.
All right, makes sense. How long ago you started the prop firm?
So we have been operating, accepting traders for 2 months now, probably 2 months almost today. And we started working on the project almost 1 year ago. And since then, I already gave you a small background then. And since then, we've just been building our application, our rule engine, and integrating with CTrader, testing, building the brand, probably rebuilding it. Pip Farm, I think it's not a very confusing name, but some other people do. And definitely the designer who made the logo was very confused.
Yeah.
And also the web designer, also a little bit confused. I think if you're not from the trading world, first of all, Pip, very strange.
Yeah, very straight. Only traders know what Pip is.
Yeah. And also only I think it's a British word, pip, like seed from an apple. Like we call them pips. I think everywhere else it's a seed, right? So yeah, a bit confusing. But it's good. Pips are good. And also it ties into what I want the brand to focus on, which is farming pips. So, you can say I made 10 grand in one trade. Is that good or is that bad? You don't know because it depends on the risk of the trade.
Yep.
But, if you make 1,000 pips, that's pretty good. Better than 10 pips. Just because you can open a huge position doesn't make you a good trader, right? So this is why we will focus a lot around the concept of pips because it's how you get to show skill rather than just percentages and just money, right?
All right. You were saying about your experience. You worked with CTrader as an executive for 7+ years. Who are you before you started the pro firm? Tell us something about your background. How you basically was introduced to trading, how you started with CTrader, then how you started with the pro firm industry itself.
Yeah, like most things in life, it's chance, luck, circumstances. Yeah. So when I was 20, I moved to Cyprus. And before then, a lifetime ago, my background is shipping. So I used to work in a shipping company. I studied supply chain management and I moved to Cyprus and I was looking for a job in a shipping company. And Cyprus, at that time, it's not just a hub for Forex brokers, it's also a shipping hub.
Yeah.
Many shipping companies have registered there or were, they call them like a flag of convenience, almost like a license of convenience for brokers. So every ship has to be registered to some country. And I guess this is going a bit off topic, but you asked. So every ship has to be registered to some country somewhere, right? And for many reasons at that time, companies, they chose Cyprus. And I think if I remember correctly, probably I'm wrong, but this is what I remember. The Cyprus government or whoever is in charge of registering ships charged like 5,000 euros per year. And then they were like, you know what? We'll make loads of money if we charge 10, 20 times more than that.
Yeah.
And in the end, all the ships left Cyprus because there are other cheaper countries. And then they didn't make any money. They just lost money. And one of the biggest shipping companies then, they fired everybody. So it was me and like 2,000 other people looking for a job at the same time. So I kind of realized, well, it's probably not like a good, I probably won't, the competition is too much, right? So yeah, Cyprus, as many would know, is full of Forex brokers. At the time, there's probably hundreds. So there was one recruitment company that was offering evening school to learn not trading Forex, but how to work inside of a broker.
Yeah.
So you probably hear about lots of seminars teaching you how to trade Forex. This was a seminar teaching you how to be a broker.
All right.
So I went to this. I won't say that it's any kind of prestigious accolade. After the end of the class, the guy gave us all of the answers and then told us to take a test. So everyone passed. So I was in Cyprus looking for a job. I had this qualification.
Yeah.
I went to some interviews, and then there was this. I can talk to you about some of my interviews because I have some crazy stories. But in the end, I was offered a job by TopFX, which was one of the, at the time, few liquidity providers in Cyprus. And this was back when, there was this like clear distinction between brokers, either A book or B book. So either of the ones that are like connected to a guy who just decides about your execution, or connected to an actual liquidity provider. So there was like, most brokers were A book back then, or many were. So it was like very interesting. I got to work with a lot of brokers, learn about how they operate. And so this was my first job for a couple of years. And then I moved to CTrader, which was my first super exciting job because I got to manage a bunch of departments, everything from sales, marketing, customer support, and then like further on into like product development, training brokers, going to different brokers, training the customer support teams, training the dealing team, how to use the CTrader back office. And I got to work with small brokers, banks, etc. So that was probably the highlight of my career that taught me basically everything I know. And then I got to then move into other companies for shorter times, but I had already collected a lot of experience, and I got to manage different projects like licensing for electronic money companies, payment aggregation systems, cryptocurrency exchanges. So I got to be exposed to more than just the Forex industry. And then like everything, I go in perfect circle, and now I am, operating a platform for Forex traders.
That's perfect. So at the time when you were executive at CTrader, I remember FTMO is the only firm that goes back in 2016-17, which was providing back in the days CTrader, and they were the only firm at the time. Now, of course, as you said, there are probably multiple dozens out there who are providing CTrader as a platform. So when they had CTrader, did you got to know about FTMO because you were working in CTrader?
Actually, no. FTMO added CTrader after I had left.
All right. Okay.
So I think they added it probably in 2019, which is the year that I left. Yeah.
All right. So basically.
So when I was there were no prop trading companies. It was just only brokers. And we tried at that time to get into like other niches. Like we built a futures exchange for cryptocurrency trading. We built a cryptocurrency exchange, but it's, CTrader has always been a brand for Forex CFD trading. And the prop trading is something that's very new.
Yeah. So you started Pip Farm, like operationally, it came into the market a couple of months ago. And what is different here? Why should traders choose Pip Farm?
The main reason, I mean, it's hard to find reasons when you have like so many almost copy paste companies. And this is something I observed quite significantly while working in the Forex industry, because it's very much the same, where everyone is competing by saying I have the tightest spreads, but really you either have good spreads or you don't. You say you have great customer support, and kind of everyone should. That's kind of the expectation. So it's really hard to find a real differentiator between different firms, and just saying I'm really good is not good enough because everyone thinks that they're really good, right? This was pretty hard because, again, going back to what I mentioned earlier about us no longer being the only CTrader prop firm, one of the big delays in launching was actually figuring out how we could be different.
Yeah.
So the main difference, sorry for the long build up.
No worries.
The main difference is we have this experience point system, and
Alright.
the best way to describe it is kind of like airline miles. Most prop firms, they have a scaling program. So you
Yeah.
start an evaluation, you pass, you make a certain number of withdrawals, you make a certain number of percent profit, and you last a certain duration, and then you go to the next stage, you get more funding, you get maybe some more drawdown. But the thing is, if you lose that account, you go back to the beginning, and all those perks that you had, they're gone.
Yeah.
So we have experience points, and they last forever. So you fail, you still keep them. And after you collect 10 points, you get to the first rank, and this is when you have some benefits, right? So at the first rank, you get lower commissions, you get longer inactivity period. So this is something that you keep forever. And then when you get to the second rank, that's when you start getting higher drawdown, lower profit targets, faster scaling, bigger scaling. So you have some perks that you get to keep for your whole life, right? You don't lose them, they don't decay, you can't spend them, you can't transfer them. They are just yours for as long as you want to use our service. And this is the main differentiator because it allows us to gradually make our product more compelling.
All right.
And it's important for the risk management of the company too. Again, going a little bit off track, but I think it all kind of ties in together. So a lot of firms, they compete on conditions, right? So when you have same platform, almost same dashboard showing the same stuff, okay, my profit target is lower, my drawdown is bigger.
Yeah.
It's cheaper, whatever. So those are really risky things to compete on because if you get the recipe wrong, there'll be some mathematical issues in the fees you collect, any trades that you hedge, the risk that you transfer, and then the payouts that you have to make. So traders do want better conditions, but if you give everything to everyone without knowing them, you don't know if that's a good or a bad decision. But at least by us gradually adding more risk to traders who kind of earn it because they collect this experience, we are giving the better conditions to people who we have a track record with. And they don't just come to trade very aggressively with all of those advantages we give to everyone, they kind of earn them. And then we don't have to worry about aggressive traders using all of the leverage, all of the drawdown, because it's only provided to traders who have collected this experience with us.
All right, it makes sense. I saw your post on Twitter and you were comparing the slippage and the execution delay between different firms, including PIFarm. So how did you come to that conclusion? And can you tell a little bit about that as well?
Yeah, sure. Over the past few weeks, we've been seeing traders kind of crying out about the conditions.
Yeah.
And first of all, I knew how to test this because one of the great things about CTrader is all of this information is super transparent. For sure, it's not shown in MT4 or MT5, so you can't see the execution time, you can't see the slippage so easily. So knowing that I could test this, I wanted to see, like, is it really as bad as what people are saying? So I had seen some tweets, some shares from other traders who showed some really bad slippage. And, you can't really take things based on what people on the internet say. So I was really curious and I wanted to test myself. So it was more of a competitor analysis test to see is my stuff as good as other firms, because I wanted to make sure that maybe I wanted to benchmark myself and make sure that my conditions are good enough, at least better than most, right? It doesn't mean that they have to be the best, but at least not far from the best. So yeah, we decided to do this more as an internal exercise. And then we thought, actually, traders, this could be interesting. So we shared it and apparently it was interesting.
Yeah.
I think 100,000 impressions. So, a lot of people saw this. And I think for a lot of traders, it was validation, right? It's validation that it's not just them, that they really are experiencing these issues. And I think that's why it was so successful and why it resonated with so many people, because something that they've been feeling, observing, but no one has been caring about. Someone said, you know what, you're not wrong. You're not crazy. You're not stupid. Like, all of this stuff is true. And I think that was actually a really important thing for the community. And so I guess you saw it.
Yeah.
Do you think it was inappropriate of me as someone who owns a prop firm to share this information?
No, I don't think so, because the reason I would say, even I did not know that there were these type of execution delays or these type of slippages. I have tested out multiple platforms, especially in last 2 to 3 months. Even though I'm not currently trading with prop firms, I'm not doing the challenges properly. However, I from time to time I do test out how the things are going on with certain certain firm. When I saw the execution, like the differences and that chart, I was like, man, I should have done that by myself as a trader to share this information with my audience, so that way they will know that if like you have 10 different prop firms, and if I'm making a video about top 6 prop firms and I'm not basically doing these type of comparisons, and that's something that I should be doing. And I think it's totally appropriate. And it's not about you being a prop firm CEO. You are also a trader. Like when I say trader, basically you have worked with the industry for a decade, so you know most things that we as a trader even don't know how things work at the end. So that was definitely very interesting, and of course it's totally fine. And I have seen like a lot of other risk managers out there who are definitely helping a lot of traders on Twitter. They were also appreciating the fact that you came and you shared all that information.
Okay, nice.
All right, so let's talk about, like, I started with prop firms in 2019. It was February when I took the FTMO challenge, and almost in January 2019 I came to know about FTMO. Now, back in the days, of course, there were only a couple of firms. There was FTMO and there was BlueFX, which I knew at that time. Now, after I took the challenge, I passed it. I got, like, I could not pass for the very first time, but after that I passed it, got the fund account, received payout. Then I worked with BlueFX for some time. Then I took a break. Then I came back with, after a break when I was finishing my bachelor's degree in 2020. When I came back, there were a lot more firms rather than just 2 firms like FTMO or BlueFX. In 2020, Funding Talent and My Forex Fund were also funding traders. Now, I have seen firms starting from bottom, going to the number 1 pro firm in the world, and then just going away. And it's not just one firm. I'm talking about BlueFX. I'm talking about Funding Talent. I'm talking about My Forex Fund. I'm talking about the prop trading. I'm talking about the Fundy Trader program, Skill Fundy Traders. And there are many others which I never considered. Like, I will be taking the challenge with them. I will review them because there were a lot of shady things that they were doing. So that's why I decided not to look at them. However, these are the main firms which I saw that they came into the market. They were funding traders, and at one point they were doing exceptionally well. Then they were out of the market. Why? Because they did not have funds to keep operating, to keep paying traders, or My Forex Fund had a different issue, and as well as the prop trading. So why, how do you think PIP Farm is going to survive, and what is it something that you're going to be doing to make sure PIP Farm will be in the market for a long time?
That's a great question. So the main, I don't know exactly what happened in these companies, but one of the main risks is doing nothing, right? So managing the risk of a prop firm, I would say, is 10 times harder than a Forex broker, right? Because with a Forex broker, you have 100% of the margin that is on the line from the trader, and you're just providing leverage. But you have stop out, so you liquidate the customer before they can start losing your money.
Yeah.
With a prop firm, you can't do that. And that's why this concept of just STPing all of the prop traders' orders to the market it's impossible. It doesn't make any sense. But at the same time, doing nothing also doesn't make any sense, because if you think about it from the brokerage perspective, almost every trader, given long enough, will lose all of their money. Only a few that are consistent, methodical, and know their limits, they will do what they intended to do, which is to make money. But most others, eventually, they will just lose it all, whether it takes a month, a year, 2 years, 5 years, until they stop, right? So with a prop, but traders are not unprofitable all of the time, right?
Yeah.
So they don't start the account and just go down. They, like the market, they retrace. They go up, they go down, they go down, they go up. It's not just one direction. So the challenge with prop firms is you can't assume that the trader is going to lose, because they only have to be profitable for a certain amount of time, because they have the account they have some targets, right? So whether it's a scaling target, whether it's the minimum withdrawal from the account, like there is some target that they are aiming for. So if they're aiming for that target and they reach it, then they will take their payout, and then they may lose the money. So you have to manage the risk under these circumstances, right? So you can't just assume that given long enough, they will lose money, because the truth is they won't. They can make money while they are losing money. And just because of the circumstances of the funded account, you need to be able to cover those payouts, right? So we don't send every trade to the market, but we do send some. And usually we have a few tricks. I wouldn't say tricks, but strategies. And one which may surprise you is we may start copying a trader when they are close to breaching the account. The reason is it's more likely that they will make a comeback than they will lose. And if they lose, there may just be 0.5% or 1% left. So we can risk that 0.5%. But the upside is, even if they go back to break even, then if the drawdown is 12%, then we could make 11% and they go back to break even. Then they may fail, but we've made 11% on that account. So that's one thing. The other thing is the scaling target. And that's why we have a pretty flexible scaling target, because it helps us to know what the trader is aiming for. So we have this 12% target. So then we can assume, for now it's an assumption, but I've seen it work in the past, that they are aiming for this. us, and we can actually stop copying them or stop listening to their signals when they get close to this profit target, because either they will make it and then, okay, we just have to cover this 1%, or they will actually not continue. Their strategy will stop performing. They will stop performing. Either they start to get too aggressive because they want to get to that point and then they start making mistakes. So if we know these parameters, then we can actually manage some of the risk on our side. We will not be correct all of the time. We will not always make more than the trader. We may, it's a strategy. So sometimes it will work, sometimes it won't. But the idea is that we don't do nothing, right? We have to do something. And this is one of the things that I think makes us different, because many prop firms I've spoken to, they do absolutely nothing. That might be good enough for some of the time. And sometimes doing nothing is fine, but it can't be, all of the time, right? There have to be some situations where you do something.
How many currently, how many active traders currently you have in Pip Farm?
On the evaluation, we have about 100, just over 100.
Yeah.
And then funded, we have probably 9 last time I checked this morning. And to be absolutely honest, we've maybe sent 7 trades to the market this whole time. So
7 trades in total. And what were the results, if you don't mind me asking?
1 or 2%, not a lot.
Like most of them were profitable? That's what I mean?
Half were profitable, half were not. But
All right.
overall, the account is up 2%.
All right, that's perfect. Like even right now you are trading on a very small level.
Yeah.
And you out of, like, let's say you had at the time maybe 10, 20 traders, and out of them, all of the trades that they took, you only basically copied total 7 trades, and that means you at this time, even though the operation is very small, you have at least made 2% on your margin account, which is very nice, to be honest. How do you plan when the firm will go big, like when you will have thousands of funded traders at one time? How do you plan to manage risk at that time? Because I am sure about one thing, that at that time when you will have like 1,000, 2,000, or even more funded active traders, it will be really hard to manage the risk. What do you plan about it?
Well, there will be a team. So
All right.
yeah, it is hard, but it's more about aggregating the data, right? So I expect that it will get less efficient as it grows, because that's just how it is with any kind of activity, right? The bigger it is, the harder it is to move. So it will get less efficient. But the point is that it should still have like a positive impact on covering the payouts to the traders, right? So to be honest, I don't know what it will look like. I haven't seen it done on a very large scale. Only 1 or 2 prop firms that I know that are very large do this.
Yeah.
And their trading activity is much smaller than you would expect for a company of that size. So they are also very selective. And again, they are probably just finding the handful among thousands, maybe even tens of thousands, that are consistent enough to really trust and, set and forget, let's say. But with other traders that are inconsistent, but still can be in that category of profitable for a short amount of time, this would require some aggregation and also some automation as well. So there are some tools that you can connect to your trade on the back end of your trading platform, like a bridge in between the platform and the liquidity provider, where you can program different strategies. So the strategies that I described earlier, we can pre-program those, and then we can filter and sort the traders into different buckets, let's say.
All right.
And then it can be done automated. This is the only way to really scale it. But for now, it's manual, and it's fine because, as you said, the book is very small.
All right, perfect. You have seen what has happened recently in the prop firm industry, especially last 3 months. They were very hard. When MetaQuartz left the prop firm industry, then every firm had to migrate either to DXTrade, to CTrader, to MeshTrader. And then we saw the funded trader going down, skilled funded traders. They had to shut down skilled funded traders as well. Unfortunately, True Forex Fund, which I was thinking that they will, when they came back, they will be staying in the market for some time now. But they had to shut down just a couple of days ago. What do you think about the future of prop firm in general?
Yeah, without the circumstances are important, right? So I think pointing the finger at the industry is the wrong thing to do.
All right.
So everyone keeps saying the industry is doomed. Unlikely. If there is a market, then there is an industry, right?
Yep.
The problem is the participants, and the barrier to entry is very low. And I don't just mean the financial barrier, because anyone can find money. It's not hard to find money.
Yeah.
But the fitness and probity of the people who are running the firms there is no one checking it, right? So we saw this many times in different trading niches, right? With ICOs, with Forex brokers in 2010. If anyone can do it, anyone will do it. That's kind of the problem. So I think pointing the finger at the industry is the wrong take. The finger should be pointed at the people who are running the industry. And that's the main issue. So you can say the MetaTrader being withdrawn, no one could have predicted it. Yes, it is a black swan event. Yes, it's very annoying, but it wasn't unpredictable, because it was a business on the back of a violation of terms and conditions of the main platform provider. It's not allowed.
Yeah.
So this whole economy was faulty from the beginning. beginning. And I'm not surprised that MetaTrader did this because they've done similar things in the past. They reacted to save their business, to protect their business, right?
Exactly.
This whole business model, MetaQuotes didn't see a penny from it because they don't charge for the demo accounts. So all these demo accounts being sold for hundreds, thousands of dollars, all these brokers doing the
They were
gray
trying,
labeling, making so much money, except for the face of it all, which is MetaTrader. So I don't even judge them for what they did actually.
Sense. Yeah, makes
Yeah,
sense.
so they had all the risk and none of the reward. And maybe they come back with like a proper formulated offering for certain companies. Maybe they don't. I think, the market is big enough for them to probably do it, but I understand why they did what they did. Yeah. So when it would happen is probably what no one foresaw, right? But the fact that it happened, I don't think is that unpredictable. So yeah, I mean, I can't fault anyone for not being prepared for that. It's this like online trading has always been an omni-platform business, right? I spent 7 years fighting brokers about C-Trade, and they, many of them don't want it because like, oh, traders don't want it. But the thing is, there was this big EA economy, right? So all the traders, they were locked into MT4. And I even remember at a conference, maybe in 2015, traders were shouting at MetaQuotes, arguing with them about MQL5 and why isn't it backwards compatible? Why did you do this to us? Why are you ruining our lives? Like we built all these EAs and now we can't use them on your new platform. So even they couldn't compete with themselves, for many years. And so it has always been an omni-platform industry. So I again understand why prop firms were in this situation of not having multiple platforms. So then how long does it take to add a new platform? To be honest, many did react pretty fast, I would say. Like 2 months to add a new platform. I've seen brokers take a year to add a new platform. So adding it in a couple of months is it's pretty reasonable when you have quite a complex system connecting to another complex system and mistakes are quite, significant. So yeah, I think actually the response time wasn't that bad. Why this response time was an issue, that's the thing that I don't understand. Because one of the arguments is they didn't have money to make payouts, but who's making money when there is no platform running, right?
Yeah.
This is what I don't understand. And the only explanation, that I can think of doesn't mean that there aren't others. There wasn't enough money to begin with. Because if you just cut the time and you say, we can't do any more trading and we owe what we owe today. So then why is there not enough money to pay what is already owed? Because they were waiting for new money because there wasn't enough money already there. So I think that implies that the problems already existed. And that again kind of goes back to the pointing the finger at not the industry or the business model, but the people who are running the industry. And there would have been enough money if there was proper accounting being performed, right? Like if you don't have enough money to manage your payouts any given time, then that's when the problem starts. So yeah, I assume there was problems already and it was just a matter of time, and this was the matter of time.
Yeah. All right, perfect. So let's wrap this today's interview. And lastly, I just want you to tell traders if they want to choose Pip Farm, just briefly, like anything that comes in your mind, why should they take challenge with Pip Farm?
So I have to pick one reason, or I can give several.
Yeah, you can give several.
Yeah. So I don't want to keep blowing the same trumpet that, you have to do your due diligence on who you're going to work with. I think I've made that brutally clear so far. But when it comes to the product, I'm very happy with our product and I hope you would be too. We, I think, are one of the only firms that has a dashboard showing real-time equity.
All right.
So when I did the test, the slippage test, I also checked all the dashboards of all the firms and I was just clicking refresh in the browser to see what is my equity. Every 5 minutes it would update. And then you have to think about how reliable is the system if it's only updating equity every 5 minutes. And that's, when you have a position open, 5 minutes can be a lifetime. So we have a very good, stable product. I know you do most of your trading in the trading platform.
Yeah.
And this is one of the reasons why we don't have 1,000 charts and graphs and analytics in our dashboard. It focuses on what you really need to know, which is the rules. So I would say our product is one of the most reliable and stable. Then the customer support. So I am the head of customer support. It's my company. No one can provide support like me. I am not hiding. I am not delegating absolutely everything to other people and hiding behind this, wall of ignorance. So I know everything that is going on in the company. I am there supporting everyone. I am pushing everyone in the team to give the best possible support as well, and correcting everyone for their mistakes and making sure that all information is accurate and people really know the rules of the product and how they can start. And then the experience points. So not only does that give you these lifetime rewards, but it also gets rid of one other thing that I think is pretty bad practice, and it's add-ons, right? So you start a challenge and you pay an extra 20% for potentially getting 20% more profit. So you get this, we don't have add-ons, and I hope that we never will. Probably we never, I will say that. We will never have add-ons. We are also adding swap-free accounts and multi-currency accounts, also no add-ons, no extra cost. So So we're an add-on free prop firm. So the idea that you could pay 20% extra on top of your challenge so that you may or may not, because you could fail the challenge, get some extra profit, faster profit. So we don't have any of that. You get this by earning the experience, and then you don't have to pay for this. We give it to you for being experienced. And I think that's another really important point that we offer is we are not just trying to milk the customer by paying extra fees on the challenge, right? The challenge costs the challenge. And if you want better stuff, you need to be more experienced with our company. And I think that's a very unique perspective on this whole model, right? Not charging extra for extra benefits. You earn them.
All right, perfect. One question, I was sorry about that. I should have asked it earlier. Are you running your own tech or you are using third-party tech?
It's my own, yeah.
Oh, perfect. That's perfect. So thank you, James, for your time today. It was a great talking to you about the industry issues and also you starting the Pip Farm, as well as how you think the industry is going to be in the future. And guys, if you have watched the interview until the end, do let me know what you think about this interview and as well as what James told us about the industry in the comment section. And if you have any question, you can ask in the comment section as well.
All right. Thank you very much, Ajwad. And good luck with the channel and the rebrand. And
thanks a lot.